We're going to move on now to the WWE Championship match. Finally, Vacant's run with the WWE title will come to an end when Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton face off with the championship on the line and Shawn Michaels as the guest referee in Hell in a Cell. What have you been thinking about the build-up for this match? Funny thing is, speaking of that build-up, I mean, neither of the competitors are really being talked about at this point. It's all a certain someone.
Yeah, this is kind of a circus of a storyline. I like the whole idea. I mean, if you mind, should I go with the whole controversy that's been, especially what happened on this past Monday?
I mean, like I said, that's what people were talking about, so why not? Yeah. Go right ahead.
This is just getting out of control, man. I like to joke around a lot. I never really meant the stuff that I said about Triple H. I like to joke, do the burial jokes, here comes my shovel, but I never like 100% meant it. Now I'm starting to kind of, if you've ever saw Lady Justice, she has the pots leaning like one is always heavier than the other. Now the Triple H's pot is starting to become a lot more heavier. This is getting a little bit ridiculous. Chris Jericho was pissed off. It's hilarious. He tweeted something, but basically on the long lines of "Don't expect to see me anymore." But he deleted it quickly, and then he said, "Oh, it's okay. It's just entertainment." Yeah, right. And he wanted that paycheck because he wasn't sure what's going to happen to Fozzy. I'm sure his agent probably told him, "No, stupid, you're going to screw our money up." But it is a TV show. At its core, it's a TV show, but I just feel like the WWE is too sensitive as a product to pull something like that off. If this would have happened to a guy like Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Shawn, Stone Cold, Rock, etc., those guys are bulletproof. Anything you could say about them, and even Jericho himself, he's bulletproof. The guy lost to a dancer, a flamboyant dancer at WrestleMania on the guy's debut, and he's still over. Guy's bulletproof. He doesn't have anything to be worried about. But I do feel like Triple H, whenever he goes out there, it's just the guy does not know how to make the other guy look good. I don't know what it is. I mean, he is one of the great heels of all time because people legitimately hate the guy, but he's not the greatest. He does not build the other guy up. It's just with Daniel Bryan, I only come back to fight stars. The whole ego thing, you just think about it and whatnot. You do have to have an ego to survive in that business, but that was just ridiculous, especially, pushing Cody Rhodes and Goldust out of the ring just so the last frame could be him on the screen. And there was only literally 2 frames of Cody Rhodes holding the belt. They didn't even get to celebrate. It was just the ending shot was just Triple H. It's just all this stuff kind of adds up, It's really outrageous. And to be quite frank, back in 2003 when he was the face of the company, WWE shares tanked to one of the lowest times it's ever been in, so he's not much of a star himself. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, in a response, you did mention how there are some guys in WWE history that are bulletproof, and it's not as if they just stand there and take the shots. The thing is, they fire back. Now, the question is, why isn't Daniel Bryan bulletproof? Because there are people who can stand out there and they can take all of that shit that somebody like Triple H has to say, and like I said, they can fire right back. Is Daniel Bryan the kind that can fire back, and is it Triple H's fault that he did?
Yeah. Well, it's just part of the whole scripted environment, and I don't know who's in charge. Well, Stephanie's in charge of it. Well, that makes a lot of sense, but you can't. Just because the guy's her husband doesn't mean you script it so his character, it's all make-believe. You don't really win the fights. You're not really the WWE champion. Your character is. You can't beat any of those. Are you kidding me? Triple H can't beat Brock Lesnar in a real fight. CM Punk would immediately die. Like the moment he looks at him, he would have a heart attack and die if it were to be a real fight. I don't understand why they go so hard to protect their characters when it's all just a TV show, and it really hurts themselves. It hurts because Daniel Bryan, after this whole star business, he's not going to win on Sunday. Well, I'll save the rest of that stuff for later. But Daniel Bryan is kind of going a bit on his stock is kind of dropping a bit. because he's not going to get another match after this. I don't want to see another match. That'll be like 4 or 5 matches in a row. So he's going to have until, like, let's see, so we got Survivor Series. We got about 3 or 4 months without him being the champion. And we know WrestleMania 30, man, number 30, not like some regular, it's the 30th anniversary. John Cena's going to be the main event. Come on. So Daniel Bryan, they kind of potentially killed off another star, and they have nobody to blame but themselves. It's not these guys can't draw. It's you don't know how to freaking build a star up without letting your ego or stupid BS old school politics getting in the way. And Daniel Bryan, I mean, you can argue that if you don't have the mic skills, maybe you shouldn't be a main eventer. At this point, man, there's nobody, man, that has every single thing. Everybody has something that holds them back, whether you can argue CM Punk and ratings, John Cena in-ring ability, if you want to argue that. If you want an all-around dude, I don't think there's anybody who's near perfect in the WWE right now. Even Orton has his issues. They say that if you build a wrestler from the ground up, it'll look like him. I mean, yeah, but he has his issues too. You got to have some kind of star. Work with their strengths, something, man. Don't just completely tear the guy down. I mean, Triple H, I mean, you're not that big of a star. I mean, you're a star and all. DX and the whole shebang, but when people think of the Attitude Era, well, at least when I think of the Attitude Era, the first guys I think of is Stone Cold and The Rock, and then maybe Triple H is probably the 5th one. I think Undertaker, I really liked him and Kane, so he's probably the 5th guy.
Okay, honestly, I think you're dancing around the whole issue of Danny Bryan a little bit. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I do believe that they've been playing to Danny Bryan's strengths. That's why they put him in matches with the Shield. That's why they throw him in all of these matches. And I actually think that they've been kind of protecting Danny Bryan, because I've had this thought myself for a while now, and I actually expressed it on PWTR last week. And we kind of talked about this off air, me, you, and Charlie. I hate that Daniel Bryan has become the guy. I can't even necessarily say become the guy, because it is who he is. He's the type of person that's going to go out there exactly as he did last week. After all of that shit that was talked, Daniel Bryan comes out there. He makes an appearance. This is supposed to be your top face in the company right now. And what does he do? Does he retort with a response on the mic? Does he rip you a new ass or anything like that? No. He goes for the yes, 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 yes chance. And then you get him in the ring, and that's where he impresses you. But he doesn't do that on the mic. And am I really going to sit here and say that Triple H, being a heel, was too heelish? He was too mean to Daniel Bryan. Because when I was looking at Monday Night Raw, I honestly felt sorry for Bryan. He looked like a fucking child out there with the adults. Because Triple H said all of that about Daniel Bryan, eviscerated him, took his fucking entrails out of his body and laid them out for the entire world to see. And what does Daniel Bryan do? Take a step back. And Shawn Michaels starts to talk. Shawn Michaels is the one that runs to his defense. And what happens after that? Sure enough, they go back to Daniel Bryan using his strengths. He attacks Randy Orton, and he runs to the Big Show. So it's like they have all of these kickstands there.
It's Stone Cold Steve Big Show.
They have all of these kickstands there for Daniel Bryan, protecting him, because maybe, and I hate to say this, but the talent does not match up with the response from the crowd. The crowd goes absolutely nuts, insane for Daniel Bryan, and he's over as all get out. But is this the guy that's going to command the stage when he gets on the mic? Is this the guy that when somebody tells you you're a solid B+, when somebody tells you you're not worthy of being the WWE champion, when somebody tells you that you'll never be the guy, is this the guy that's going to be bulletproof? Is this a guy that's going to take those shots and then come back with more fire? Because, like you said, there are people over the history of WWE that could have taken every single thing that Triple H said. One of the people that Triple H mentioned when he was talking about how they were popular, how they were talented, how they were never the guy. Chris Jericho, somebody he mentioned. Edge was somebody he mentioned. RVD was somebody he mentioned. We saw Edge fire back at Triple H.
That RVD stuff is kind of BS.
We all know Chris Jericho, he could have done it, but Daniel Bryan, I mean, could he have done it? And like I said, Is that Triple H's fault?
RVD was out popping Austin at one
But
point,
here you go again. You're talking about pops. That isn't consistent with being the top guy. Just because you get the biggest reaction doesn't mean that you're the top guy. Because John Cena, his ass goes out there and gets booed every single week. But nobody can convince me that he's not the top guy in WWE. Even CM Punk, a year as a WWE champion, he still couldn't convince me that he was a fucking top guy after everybody was going crazy for him.
You can't have the Undertaker draw a satanic pentagram on the floor and roll his eyes behind his head on Fox News. So I guess you're right with the whole reactions don't equal who should be the face.
And it may sound very crazy to say that because
but I also don't think that they should get their shirts thrown back at them.
Yeah, it sounds crazy to say that because we are the fans and we drive the business. But at the end of the day, hell, look at Zack Ryder. Look at all of the crazy reactions he was getting from the crowd. Do you want to see Zack Ryder as a WWE champion? Do you want to see Zack Ryder at WrestleMania trying to end the streak? Fuck no.
I don't think I want to see him there, period. Ryder Mania is over, man.
The thing is, like, I don't want to discount the talent that Daniel Bryan does have, but the thing is, you also can't overrate him. I'm going to rate him exactly for who he is. Absolutely amazing in the ring, but when it comes to the mic, he falls short. And I do understand the other side of the argument. It's kind of like...
I don't know. I don't know if we can do that yet because, like I said before, the WWE is very scripted, and my proof is... in a lot of wrestlers' books, Stone Cold, Chris Jericho talks about this in their books. Ever since around 2002, 2003, they get a bunch of guys and they write everything. You can't go off script. You have to follow exactly what they say. And if you look at these promos, they only wrote Daniel Bryan to do yes, 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 unless, I don't know, maybe he just said, screw this, I want to do whatever the hell I feel like it, which I highly doubt because they probably wouldn't push him if he didn't follow the rules. It's just and then they had Shawn Michaels to come in and save the day. It's almost a commentary, an unintentional commentary on the state of the WWE. Our new talent, we don't have the confidence in them to draw on their own, so we get a bunch of old guys to come and save the day.
That is a fucking amazing point that you just made right there. Just thought I'd jump in.
No problem. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, I do understand the other side of the argument, though, because I'm going to use this example here. It's like if you talk trash to somebody and you say, you suck as a driver, and I want to challenge you to a race. And before the race, you slit their fucking tires. You're kind of like handicapping them. So after they lose...
I did not... if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
And it's like after they lose, then you're like, aha, see, I told you, you sucked. You handicapped them. So I do see that. But then it's like when you have to give people opportunity. But when you do give them that opportunity, and Daniel Bryan has had his opportunities on the mic, and it's not even as much as it is what he says or when he says it. It's just like his delivery. His delivery is off. You can't script somebody's delivery. You can't do that because that's up to you. That's completely up to you. I can give you something right now, David, and I could say, I want you to say, I'm going to kick your ass and I'm going to win the WWE Championship. You can go out there and you can say, I'm going to kick your ass and I'm going to win the WWE Championship. Or I'm going to kick your ass and I'm going to win the WWE Championship.
Nah, the way I would say it is, I'm gonna kick your ass and I'm gonna be the WWE champion.
Well, that goes exactly to my point, though. You made that choice. That's your delivery. That comes natural to you. You can't teach something like that. I don't give a damn how many opportunities I give you. I could say, I want you to friggin' go out here and I want you to jump rope while hula hooping and, spinning on one leg all at the same time. And if you can't do it, you just can't do it. Okay. You know what? We actually have a PWF Empire channel on YouTube. I'm going to put you to the test. I want to see it.
All right. Well, when SummerSlam comes up, I'll try it. I'll do it.
And another thing that I had to say about this, and this is, again, me exploring the other side of the issue. I noticed this during Daniel Bryan's match on Monday Night Raw.